Welcome to Nightwhisper. Nightwhisper brings you the darkest tales from the shadows. Join our community. Subscribe, leave a like, and prepare yourself for stories that will haunt your dreams. I signed the lease and took up residence in the Rosemont Apartments on November 1st, 2024. It loomed at the outskirts of town, hemmed in on three sides by dense pine forests. 6 stories of red brick and white-trimmed high-rise apartments dating from 1927, according to the dedication marker affixed close to the front entrance. There was something strange about it from the get-go when I pulled into the parking lot, but it would cost me just what I could afford. The landlord, Eleanor Hartley, was there in the lobby to meet me right on time at 9 in the morning. She was around 65 years old, with ironed silver hair styled back into a tight bun, and an expression whose gaze seemed to pierce right through you rather than at you. She was wearing a navy blue cardigan sweater, which was quite unusual for the mild climate, with a hefty 3-ring notebook tucked under one arm. "Miss Olivia Turner?" she asked, holding out her free hand. I shook it. Her grip was firm, her skin cold. "Yes, that's me. Thank you so much for meeting me on a Saturday." "Of course." She produced my keys from her cardigan pocket, 2 identical brass keys on a simple ring. "These open your apartment door, apartment 403, 4th floor. The elevator's to your left, stairs to your right." She handed me the keys, then held out the binder. "This is mandatory reading," she said. Her voice dropped lower. "Read the winter protocols before the first snow. They're not suggestions. They're requirements." I took the binder. It was heavier than expected, maybe 5 pounds of laminated pages and plastic dividers. "Winter protocols?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Like snow removal schedules?" Eleanor's expression didn't change. "No, these are safety protocols specific to this building. Every tenant receives a copy. Every tenant must follow them, starting from the first snowfall until April 1st. She held my gaze a moment too long. "What happens if someone doesn't follow them?" "Bad things." She pulled her cardigan tighter. "Very bad things. But as long as you follow every rule exactly as written, you'll be perfectly safe. 17 rules, not 16, not 18. 17. Memorize them. Your life depends on it." Before I could ask anything else, she walked away toward her office, her footsteps echoing in the empty lobby. I stood there holding the binder and my keys, feeling like I'd just been warned about something I didn't understand. But I needed this apartment. First month's rent was already paid. My old lease was up. I had nowhere else to go. I took the elevator to the 4th floor. The hallway was long and dim, lit by ancient fluorescent lights that hummed and flickered. Dark green carpet, cream-colored walls, numbered doors on both sides. The building smelled old. Not dirty, just old. Like paper and dust and decades of lives lived behind closed doors. Apartment 403 was at the far end of the hall, corner unit. The key turned smoothly in the lock. Inside, the apartment was better than I'd expected from the online photos. Hardwood floors, high ceilings, large windows overlooking the forest. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, galley kitchen, living room. Completely empty. Completely silent. I set the binder on the kitchen counter and started unloading my car. It took 3 trips to bring up all my boxes. I didn't see another person the entire time, no neighbors in the halls, no sounds from other apartments. The building felt abandoned despite Eleanor's assurances that it was nearly full. By evening, I was exhausted. Boxes everywhere, furniture half assembled, nothing put away. I ordered pizza and sat on my mattress on the bedroom floor, scrolling through my phone. The binder sat on the counter where I'd left it. I should have read it that first night, but I was tired and overwhelmed, and convinced it was probably just standard apartment rules about trash day and quiet hours. The binder stayed on the counter for 3 weeks. I settled into my new life, started my remote job, met a few neighbors in passing, explored the small New Hampshire town. The other tenants seemed normal enough. An elderly couple on the third floor who always smiled but never spoke. A middle-aged man named Robert across the hall who worked nights. A younger woman on the second floor who wore headphones constantly. Everyone was polite, everyone kept to themselves. But I started noticing things. The building was never loud, ever. Even on weekends, even in the evenings, it was eerily quiet. No music, no arguments, no sounds of life that typically echo through apartment buildings. And everyone checked their peephole before opening their door, every single time, even during the day. I mentioned this to Robert one morning when we happened to leave our apartments at the same time. "First time living in an old building?" he asked. "No, but this place is quieter than most." He nodded slowly. "People here mind their own business, keep to themselves. It's safer that way." "Safer?" He looked at me for a long moment. "You read the winter protocols yet?" "No. What are they exactly?" His expression went carefully neutral. "Read them before it snows. Follow every single one. Don't skip anything thinking it doesn't apply to you." He paused at the elevator. "And if you see me in the halls late at night, don't try to talk to me. Just go back to your apartment, okay?" Before I could ask what he meant, the elevator doors closed. That conversation stuck with me all day. That night, I finally noticed the calendar Eleanor had included with my lease paperwork. Certain dates were marked in red. November 23rd through April 1st. Winter period, it said. November 23rd was 3 days away. I still didn't read the binder. I should have. Then, November 23rd happened. I woke to snow falling thick and fast outside my window. Not gentle flurries. Heavy, wet snow that accumulated rapidly on the windowsill and fire escape. The forecast had said nothing about snow. It was supposed to be clear and dry all week. But nature doesn't check forecasts. I made coffee in my little kitchen and finally opened the binder. The first page made my stomach drop. Rosemont Winter Protocols. Mandatory compliance for all tenants. Effective November 23rd through March 31st, annually. Failure to follow may result in serious harm or disappearance. The warning was printed in large red letters. Below it, a handwritten note from Eleanor. "These rules have protected residents for 97 years. They will protect you too, but only if followed exactly as written. No exceptions, no deviations, no second chances." My hands trembled as I turned the page. Rule 1. Keep your apartment door locked at all times. Use both the deadbolt and the chain. Check the locks before bed every night. Okay, standard security advice. Rule 2. Do not answer knocks at your door after 10 in the evening, regardless of who claims to be knocking. Do not ask who it is. Do not look through the peephole. Ignore all knocking until morning. But maybe there were problems with late-night disturbances? Rule 3. If your heating stops working, do not call maintenance. Do not attempt to fix it yourself. Wait until morning and report it between 8 and 9. Dress warmly and use extra blankets. Why couldn't I call maintenance at night? That seemed like a serious problem if heat failed in the middle of winter. Rule 4. During March, do not leave your apartment between 6 and 7 in the evening. This is the hungry hour. Plan your schedule accordingly. The hungry hour? My coffee went cold as I kept reading. Rule 5. If your doorknob turns on its own, do not react. Do not check the door. Do not add extra locks. Remain calm. It will stop. If you react, it will know you noticed. I set the binder down and stared at it. This wasn't normal apartment management advice. This was something else entirely. But I was already here. Lease signed, money paid. November 23rd had arrived, and according to the binder, the protocols were now in effect. I took a deep breath and kept reading. Rule 6. If you hear children laughing in the hallways, ignore it. There are no children in this building. Close your windows and play music or turn on the television until the sound stops. Rule 7. If you hear footsteps in the hallway between 2 and 3 in the morning, do not look through your peephole. Do not open your door. Go to your bedroom and close that door. Stay there until the footsteps stop. Rule 8. If you hear a neighbor in distress, do not investigate. Do not call for help. Do not knock on their door. Stay in your apartment until morning. If they are still in distress in the morning, then you may call emergency services. Rule 9. If you find wet footprints leading to your door, place a continuous line of salt across your threshold before going to sleep. Do not step over the salt line until morning. Keep extra salt in your apartment at all times. Rule 10. Never accept food or packages left outside your door after dark. If you find such items, leave them where they are until morning. In daylight, move them to the trash room immediately without opening them. Rule 11. Do not look out your window between midnight and 4 in the morning. If you must, keep your curtains closed and only peek through a small gap. Never open the curtains fully during these hours. Never make eye contact with anything you see outside. Rule 12. If you see someone you know standing in the parking lot during a snowstorm, waving at you or calling to you, do not wave back. Do not acknowledge them. Close your curtains immediately. The real person is safely inside their apartment. Rule 13. Never use the elevator during a snowstorm. Use only the stairs. If you encounter someone on the stairs who does not respond when you greet them, turn around immediately and return to your apartment. Wait 30 minutes before trying again. Rule 14. Do not invite anyone into your apartment after dark during winter months, even if they claim to be maintenance, landlord, or emergency services. All legitimate visits will occur during daylight hours. Rule 15. If something asks if you live here, do not answer. Do not confirm or deny. Simply walk away calmly and return to your apartment. Rule 16. Mark a small X in pencil on your doorframe each Sunday. If you find the X erased or changed during the week, inform Eleanor immediately. Rule 17. On February 15th, remain in your bedroom from sunset to sunrise. Have food, water, and entertainment in your room beforehand. Seal your bedroom door with salt. Do not emerge for any reason. Do not respond to any sounds, voices, or knocking. This is the night of longest dark. This is the most important rule. I read them 3 more times. Each rule was more disturbing than the last. My phone buzzed. A text from Eleanor. Winter protocols are now in effect. Please confirm you've read them by replying yes. Failure to confirm will result in lease termination. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to pack my car and leave immediately, find a motel, find anywhere else to live. But where would I go? I'd spent everything I had on first month's rent and security deposit. I had no family nearby, no friends close enough to crash with. And maybe these rules were just Eleanor being overly cautious. Maybe nothing would actually happen. I typed YES and hit send. 3 dots appeared immediately. Good. Stay safe, Olivia. Follow every rule. Keep salt, food, and water stocked. Mark your first X this Sunday. Welcome to winter at the Rosemont. I set my phone down and looked at the binder again. Then I looked out my window at the snow, now 6 inches deep and still falling. The first incident happened that very night. I tried to act normal, worked on my laptop, made dinner, watched a show, but my eyes kept drifting to the binder on the counter. Around 11 in the evening, I checked all my locks. Deadbolt engaged, chains secure. I went to bed at midnight. Sleep didn't come. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the buildings settle around me. Old pipes ticking, wind howling outside, the occasional creak of floorboards somewhere above. Then, at 2:43 in the morning, I heard them. Footsteps. In the hallway. Slow. Deliberate. each footfall making the old floors creak with a particular rhythm. Step, creak, step, creak, coming closer. Rule 7 flashed in my mind. If you hear footsteps in the hallway between 2 and 3 in the morning, do not look through your peephole. Do not open your door. Go to your bedroom and close that door. But I was already in my bedroom. The footsteps came closer. My entire body went rigid. They stopped right outside my apartment door. A long, terrible silence. Then 3 slow knocks. My heart hammered so hard I could feel it in my throat. I wanted to look. Every instinct screamed at me to get up and check the peephole, to see who was there, to call through the door and ask what they wanted, but the rule was clear. Do not look. Do not open. I stayed frozen in bed, covers pulled up to my chin. Another 3 knocks. Slower this time, more deliberate. Whoever was out there knew I was listening. The silence stretched out. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Then the footsteps resumed, moving away from my door, continuing down the hallway, fading into distance. But they didn't stop at any other apartment. They just kept going, past all the doors, past the end of the hallway where it should have hit a wall. The footsteps continued for another minute before finally, mercifully going silent. I didn't sleep at all that night. When dawn finally broke, I got out of bed on shaking legs and crept to my front door. I looked through the peephole, empty hallway. I unlocked the deadbolt, removed the chain, opened the door just a crack. Wet footprints, leading from nowhere, starting about 10 feet from my door, coming straight to my threshold. They were still wet, glistening, as if someone had just walked through snow and tracked it inside. But it had been 7 hours since the footsteps. Water doesn't stay wet for 7 hours. Rule 9 echoed in my head. If you find wet footprints leading to your door, place a continuous line of salt across your threshold before going to sleep. I closed and locked my door immediately. I called in sick to work, and I spent the next 3 hours driving to every store in town, buying salt, table salt, rock salt, kosher salt. I bought 20 pounds total and brought it all back to my apartment. The footprints were still wet when I returned. Still there, still glistening, as if frozen in time. I poured a thick, continuous line of salt across my threshold, inside my apartment, right at the door. The moment the line was complete, the footprints vanished. Not faded, not dried, vanished. 1 second, they were there. The next second, only dry carpet. I stood there for 10 minutes, staring at the spot where they'd been. Then I went inside, locked my door, and started rereading the protocols. Because this wasn't a joke. This wasn't Eleanor being paranoid. Something was in this building. And the rules were the only thing keeping it away from me. Over the next few days, I fell into an uneasy routine. Work during the day, make dinner before dark, triple-check my locks before bed, listen for footsteps between 2 and 3 in the morning. They came every single night, always the same pattern, always stopping at my door. 3 knocks, then moving on. I never looked, but I heard other tenants looking. On the 3rd night, I heard a door open in the hallway during the footsteps, heard someone gasp. The footsteps stopped, then screaming. A man's voice, terror and pain. The screaming lasted maybe 15 seconds, then silence. I remembered Rule 8. If you hear a neighbor in distress, do not investigate. I stayed in bed. In the morning, I saw Eleanor in the lobby. "The man in 411, I whispered. "Last night. I heard." Eleanor's face was grim. He looked through his peephole. He was new. He didn't believe the rules applied to him. She met my eyes. Learn from his mistake. Where is he now? Gone? His apartment is empty. The lease has been terminated. But how? The door was locked from the inside, wasn't it? She didn't answer, just walked away. I went back upstairs and passed apartment 411. The door stood open. Eleanor was right. The apartment was completely empty. Not just of belongings. There was no furniture, no boxes, nothing. It looked like it had never been occupied. But I'd seen the man who lived there. I'd passed him in the hallway. I'd heard him moving around. Now he was just gone. On the fifth night, I met Robert properly. He knocked on my door around 7 in the evening. I checked the peephole first, saw him standing there holding a casserole dish, and opened the door. "Thought you might like some dinner," he said. "First winter is always tough. Figure you could use a friendly neighbor." I invited him in. We ate together at my small kitchen table. He was in his late 60s, retired postal worker, lived in the building for 18 years. Kind eyes, gentle voice, but I could see the wariness in him, the constant awareness. "So, you heard about 411, he said. It wasn't a question. Eleanor said he looked through his peephole. Robert nodded slowly. "James, nice guy, 32 years old, mechanical engineer. Thought the rules were a prank. Thought we were all in on some elaborate joke to scare new tenants. What really happened to him?" Robert set down his fork. "You want the truth?" "Yes." He looked through his peephole. He saw what was walking the halls. And when you see them, they see you back. He paused. "They know you're aware of them then. They know you acknowledge their existence. And once you do that, they can get to you?" "Exactly." He looked toward my door. "The rules aren't just protection. They're a contract, an agreement. We pretend we don't see them. We don't acknowledge them. We don't interfere. And in exchange, they leave us alone. But the moment you break that contract, you become fair game. Not just fair game. You become theirs. They can take you, replace you, trap you here forever." I felt ice in my chest. "Replace you?" Robert's eyes were sad. "There's a man in 307. Been there for 4 years. I see him sometimes through his window, standing there, staring, never moving, never leaving. But he's not the same man who moved in. Something else is wearing his face now." "That's impossible." "You found wet footprints at your door, didn't you? Footprints that vanished when you used salt?" I didn't answer. "This building," Robert continued, "was built in 1927 for a reason. There was something here before. Something old. The building was constructed to contain it, to make a deal with it. They get to exist here, and we get to live here, but only if we follow the rules." "Who are they?" He shook his head. "I don't know. I've never broken a rule. I've never seen them. I've lived here 18 winters and followed every protocol perfectly, and I plan to keep it that way." We finished dinner in silence. Before he left, he handed me a piece of paper. "My phone number. If you ever have questions about a rule, call me. Day or night. Don't take chances. Don't guess. Ask." I took the paper. "And Olivia?" He paused at my door. "Stock up on salt. Keep at least 50 pounds in your apartment. You're going to need it." The days turned into weeks. I fell deeper into the routine of the protocols. Salt line every night. No looking after midnight. Bedroom door closed between 2 and 3 in the morning. And I saw things, small things at first. My doorknob turning slowly one evening while I sat on my couch. I didn't react, didn't move. It turned for 5 minutes straight, testing, before finally stopping. Shadows moving wrong in the hallways, flickering just at the edge of vision. Sounds from empty apartments, footsteps, voices, furniture being moved in units that Eleanor confirmed were vacant. But I followed the rules and stayed safe. Then one morning, I saw the marks on my doorframe. I'd made my first X in pencil that Sunday, just like Rule 16 said. A small, neat X about 5 feet up on the inside of my doorframe. On Thursday, I noticed it looked different. The pencil lines were thicker, darker, and there was something else. A small circle drawn around the X. I hadn't drawn that circle. I called Eleanor immediately. "Stay inside," she said. "Don't leave your apartment. I'm coming up." She arrived 10 minutes later with Robert. They examined the mark carefully. "It's trying to mark you," Eleanor said quietly, "trying to claim you." "What do I do?" She pulled out a stick of sage and a lighter, lit it, ran the smoke around my entire doorframe while speaking words I didn't understand. Then she took a fresh pencil and drew a new X exactly as the rule specified. "Don't let the original X ever fully disappear," she instructed. "If it gets faded, trace over it. If it's altered like this, call me immediately. The X is your protection. Your claim to this space. They'll try to erase it, to put their own marks. Don't let them." After they left, I stood at my door for an hour, watching the X, making sure it didn't change. December brought more snow, more cold, more rules being tested. One night I heard children laughing in the hallway. High, bright laughter, like kids playing tag or hide and seek. Rule 6 was clear. There are no children in this building. I closed my windows, turned on my television loud, and waited. The laughter continued for 20 minutes, then screaming, a child scream, terrified, calling for help. "Mommy, please, it's got me! Mommy!" I turned the television louder, put in headphones, played music. The screaming continued for an hour. Every instinct in me wanted to go out there, to help, to save whatever child was being hurt. But Robert's words echoed in my mind. They know how to mimic. They know how to trick us. There were no children in the building. Whatever I was hearing wasn't real, or wasn't human. Finally, the sound stopped. In the morning, I asked Eleanor if any children lived here. "Never," she said firmly. "No one under 21 has lived in this building since 1985, and we keep it that way. Children can't follow the protocols. They can't understand the rules. It's too dangerous." "What happened in 1985? Her face closed off. "A family with a 7-year-old daughter moved in, against my predecessor's advice. The child didn't make it through her first winter." "Did she heard the laughing, thought it was other kids, wanted to play, opened her door at 2 in the morning. Eleanor's voice went flat. "They found her clothing in the hallway, nothing else, just her pajamas, laid out like she'd melted out of them." I felt sick. "That's why we screen tenants carefully now. Adults only. No pets either. Animals can sense them too clearly. Go crazy. Break the protocols trying to escape or attack." Christmas came and went. We didn't celebrate as a building. No decorations in the lobby. No holiday parties. Everyone stayed in their apartments and waited for winter to end. I talked to my parents on the phone Christmas morning, told them I loved my new place, that I'd made friends, that everything was great. All lies. But I couldn't explain the truth. They'd think I was crazy or in danger. They'd want me to leave, and I couldn't leave. Not until April 1st. The lease was binding. The protocols were binding. I was trapped here until spring. That same week, I saw something that confirmed how real the danger was. I was taking out trash to the collection room on the first floor. It was 3 in the afternoon, safely within normal hours. I used the stairs like always. On the second floor landing, I found a shoe. A woman's sneaker. Nike. Size 7 probably. White with blue trim. Just sitting there on the stairs. I picked it up. Still warm. Like someone had just been wearing it. I looked up the stairwell. Down the stairwell. Empty in both directions. I left the shoe where it was and went back to my apartment. 2 hours later, Eleanor sent a building-wide text. The tenant in 211, Sarah Kim, is no longer with us. Please do not discuss this with anyone outside the building. Her family has been notified. Her apartment is being cleaned. I went back to the stairwell. The shoe was gone. That night, I heard crying from 2 to 11. A woman's voice, sobbing, calling for help. Rule 8. If you hear a neighbor in distress, do not investigate. I turned on my TV and tried to drown out the sound. The crying continued until dawn. In the morning, I passed 211 on my way to empty trash again. The door stood ajar. I couldn't help myself. I looked inside. Empty apartment. Perfectly clean. Like no one had ever lived there, except on the far wall, written in what looked like dried blood. I forgot about the hungry hour. I forgot. I'm sorry. The words were shaky, desperate. I closed my eyes and kept walking. That week, I became obsessed with the protocols. I made flashcards, 17 cards, one for each rule. I quizzed myself before bed, tested myself randomly during the day, made Robert quiz me when we had dinner together. Rule 12, he'd say, if you see someone you know standing in the parking lot during a snowstorm, waving at you or calling to you, do not wave back. Do not acknowledge them. Close your curtains immediately. The real person is safely inside their apartment. Good. Rule 7. If you hear footsteps in the hallway between 2 and 3 in the morning, do not look through your peephole. Do not open your door. Go to your bedroom and close that door. Stay there until the footsteps stop. He nodded approvingly. You're learning. That's good. The ones who survive are the ones who take it seriously, who study, who prepare. How many winters have you survived? 18. I moved in during December of 2006. Made it through that partial winter by following the rules blindly, not understanding them. Then 17 full winters since. Every year the protocols get harder to follow. Every year they get more aggressive. They? He shrugged. Whatever lives here. Spirits, entities, demons, ghosts, old gods. I don't know what to call them, but they exist. And they want us. The protocols are the only thing standing between us and them. Why don't we all just leave? Some of us have nowhere else to go. I'm on a fixed income, Social Security, and a small pension. Can't afford anywhere else. This building has rent control. Eleanor keeps it cheap for long-term tenants. I pay $600 a month for a one-bedroom. You can't find that anywhere else in New England. It's not worth your life. He smiled grimly. Maybe. Maybe not. But I'm still here, still alive. And as long as I follow the rules, I'll keep being alive. That's more than a lot of people can say. January brought the worst of the winter. The temperature dropped below zero. The snow piled 6 feet high. The town essentially shut down. Power flickered constantly. And the building got more active. The footsteps came earlier and earlier each night. No longer just between 2 and 3. Sometimes starting at midnight. Sometimes going until dawn. My doorknob turned every single evening. I found wet footprints 3 times a week. I went through salt like it was water. Then came the night I almost broke Rule 11. It was 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I was staring at my ceiling when I heard something tap my window. My 4th floor window. Tap, tap, tap. I froze. Rule 11. Do not look out windows between midnight and 4, but curiosity is a powerful thing. I sat up slowly. The tapping continued. Tap, tap, tap. I got out of bed, walked to the window. My curtains were drawn, just like the rule said. But there was a gap, maybe 2 inches. Through that gap, I could see part of the parking lot below. Snow, streetlights, my car. The tapping came again, from right outside my window, 4th floor. Nothing could be tapping on a fourth-floor window unless it was climbing or floating. My hand reached for the curtain. I wanted to see, needed to see. My fingers touched the fabric. Then my phone rang. Robert. I jumped back from the window and answered. Were you about to open your curtain? His voice was urgent. How did you know? Because they're at my window too, and I heard your floorboards creak through the wall. Don't look, Olivia. Don't give them what they want. What do they want? Eye contact, acknowledgement. Once you see them fully, they can see you fully. And then there's no going back. The tapping intensified. Tap, 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 tap. What do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Go back to bed. Put in headphones. Wait for 4 a.m. They'll leave. I did exactly as he said. Lay in bed with headphones in, music playing, eyes shut tight. The tapping continued until 4:03 a.m, then stopped. When I finally looked out my window at dawn, there were marks on the glass, long scratches, like fingernails had scraped down the outside of my window. Fingernails from something that could climb walls or float. I stopped sleeping well. February arrived, and with it, the knowledge that February 15th was coming. The night of longest dark, Rule 17. The most important rule. Every tenant received a reminder notice from Eleanor on February 10th. Mandatory reminder, night of longest dark, February 15th. Sunset, approximately 5:47 p.m. Sunrise, approximately 7:02 a.m. You must be in your bedroom by 5 p.m. Have food and water for 14 plus hours in your room. Have battery-powered lights, no candles. Seal your bedroom door with salt before 5:45 p.m. Remain in your bedroom until full sunrise at 7:02 a.m. Bring entertainment, books, tablets, etc. Have emergency contacts saved in phone. Ignore all sounds from outside your bedroom. Do not respond to voices, even if they sound like people you know. Do not check your phone for messages from anyone in the building. Do not call out or investigate any noises. You must not leave your bedroom for any reason. Open your bedroom door. Look out your bedroom window. Respond to knocking, scratching, or voices. Answer your phone unless it's from outside the building. Use social media or messaging apps. Break the salt line. Turn on bright lights after 10 p.m. This is the one night they can move freely through the building. The one night the normal rules don't contain them. Your bedroom is your only sanctuary. Do not leave it. I read the notice 5 times. Then I started preparing. I stocked my bedroom like I was preparing for a siege. Cases of water bottles, granola bars, crackers, fruit cups, everything non-perishable. 4 flashlights with fresh batteries. My laptop fully charged, my phone fully charged, a backup battery pack, books, magazines, my tablet loaded with movies and shows, and salt, bags and bags of salt. On February 14th, I triple-checked everything. At 4 p.m. on February 15th, I went into my bedroom with everything I needed. At 5:40, I poured a thick line of salt across my bedroom doorway. At 5:45, I closed my bedroom door. And I waited. Sunset came. For the first hour, nothing happened. The building was silent. More silent than I'd ever heard it. No cars outside, no wind, no settling, nothing, just absolute silence. Then midnight hit, and the sounds began. Footsteps everywhere, hundreds of footsteps, walking through every hallway, every apartment, every room, through my living room, my kitchen, my bathroom. I heard my dishes clatter in the cabinets, heard my furniture scrape across the floor, heard my front door open and close, over and over. Then the voices started. My mother. Olivia, honey, are you okay? I'm worried. Please call me. My dead grandmother. Sweet girl, I've missed you so much. Won't you come see me? My best friend from college. Hey, it's me. I'm in the hallway. Let me in. We need to talk. Robert. Olivia, there's been an emergency. You need to come out right now, please. Eleanor. This is Eleanor. There's been a fire in the building. You need to evacuate immediately. My own voice. Let me in. I'm you. I'm locked out here, please. Don't leave me out here alone with them. I sat on my bed with my hands over my ears, but the voices were too loud, too real, too convincing. At 1 a.m, someone knocked on my bedroom door. 3 slow knocks. Olivia, my father's voice. It's Dad. I drove all the way here to surprise you. Eleanor let me in. Can you open up? My father lived in California, over 3,000 miles away, but it sounded exactly like him. I brought you your favorite cookies, the ones Grandma used to make, remember? I did remember. Details only my father would know. Please, sweetie, I'm tired from the drive. I just want to give you a hug. I looked at the salt line, unbroken. Olivia? The doorknob turned, slowly, testing. Why won't you let me in? Don't you love your dad anymore? I grabbed my phone and called my father. He answered on the second ring. Hey, honey, what's up? Where are you right now? Home in Sacramento. It's 8 p.m. here. Why? Everything okay? I looked at my bedroom door, at the doorknob turning, at the shadow moving under the gap at the bottom. Nothing. Just wanted to hear your voice. I love you, Dad. Love you too, sweetheart. Call me tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. I hung up. The voice outside my door continued for another hour. Then it changed tactics, scratching, clawing, like something with long nails was trying to dig through the wood. The scratching intensified, faster, harder. Wood splintered. I could see gouges appearing in my door, deep scratches, but the salt line held. At 3 a.m, the sounds changed again. Children crying, dozens of them. Help us, please, help us. We're trapped. We're so scared. Please. I grabbed my headphones and turned music up as loud as it would go. But I could still hear them. Still hear the children sobbing and begging. I pulled my blankets over my head, closed my eyes, and prayed for sunrise. The night dragged on. At 4, the building started shaking, not earthquake shaking, something else, like thousands of things were moving through the walls. The scratching on my door became pounding. Boom, boom, boom. My entire doorframe shook, but the salt held. At 5, everything stopped. Complete silence again. No footsteps, no voices, no scratching, nothing. I didn't move, didn't trust it. Then, at 6:58 in the morning, my phone buzzed. A text from Eleanor. Almost sunrise. You made it. 2 more minutes. Stay in your room until 7:05 just to be safe. Well done. At 7:05, I carefully stepped over the salt line, opened my bedroom door. My apartment was destroyed, furniture overturned, dishes broken, pictures knocked off walls, deep scratches on every surface. But I was alive. I looked at my front door. It was still locked, deadbolt and chain. Whatever had done this hadn't come through the door. It had been inside my apartment the whole time, waiting, hoping I'd come out. I spent the next 3 hours cleaning and putting things back together. At 10, Eleanor knocked. She looked exhausted. Everyone made it, she said quietly. All 11 of us. First time in 4 years that no one was lost on the night. What happens to the ones who don't make it? She looked at the scratches on my wall. They become part of the building, part of them, forever. How many are trapped here? I don't know, dozens, maybe hundreds. This building is almost 100 years old, and every year someone doesn't follow the rules. She handed me a small envelope. Inside was a check. What's this? Hazard bonus for surviving the night. You've earned it. It was $2,000. I can't. Yes, you can. You followed every rule. You trusted the protocols. That's worth rewarding. She left before I could argue. I stood in my apartment looking at the chaos around me. 6 more weeks until April 1st. 6 more weeks of this. I could do it. I had to. March brought a different kind of horror. The rules changed slightly. Rule 4 became active. During March, do not leave your apartment between 6 and 7 in the evening. This is the hungry hour. I asked Robert what the hungry hour meant. They're strongest in March, he explained, weaker in the summer heat, gaining power through winter. By March, they're at maximum strength. 6 to 7 in the evening is when the light is fading but not gone. Twilight, that in-between time. They move most freely then. What happens if you're caught outside during the hungry hour? His face went pale. You don't want to know. But I found out anyway. On March 5th, a woman in apartment 206 made a mistake. She'd been at work. Her car broke down. She didn't get back to the building until 6:15. I was looking out my window, careful not to get too close, when I saw her pull into the parking lot, saw her get out of her car, saw her look at her watch and realize what time it was, saw her run for the front door. She almost made it. 10 feet from the entrance, she just stopped, frozen mid-step. I couldn't look away. Something moved behind her, shadows that weren't cast by anything. They wrapped around her. She started screaming. The shadows pulled her backwards, slowly, dragging her away from the building, into the forest. Her screams lasted 5 minutes, then stopped. At 7:01, I saw Eleanor go outside. She walked to where the woman had been, picked up a purse and a set of keys, and walked back inside. The next morning, apartment 206 was empty. March brought other incidents. A man tried to use the elevator during a heavy snow. I was taking the stairs when I heard it. The elevator doors opened on the 3rd floor. I heard someone step inside. Then the doors closed. The elevator went down, then up, then down again. Faster and faster. Then it stopped. Silence. At 7 the next morning, they opened the elevator. It was empty. But there was blood on the floor and scratches on the inside of the walls, like someone had tried to claw their way out. Days blurred together. Follow the rules. Stay alive. Count down to April. March 27. Eleanor called the final meeting. All 11 remaining tenants gathered in the community room. April 1st is in 5 days, Eleanor began. Sunrise on April 1st ends the winter protocols. You'll be free to move, to break your leases without penalty, to leave if you choose. But until that exact moment, the protocols remain in full effect. The last few days are the most dangerous. They know time is running out. They'll try harder than ever to make you slip, to make you break a rule. Don't give them the satisfaction. If we leave on April 1st, I asked, can we come back? Like to visit? Eleanor's expression was sad. No. If you leave, you're permanently exiled from the building. You can never return. Not even to the parking lot. Not even to stand outside. Once you break the connection, it's severed forever. What happens if someone tries to come back? They disappear. Instantly. Doesn't matter if it's daytime or summer. The moment they cross the property line, they're taken. I've seen it happen 3 times. Do you ever leave? Robert asked her. She shook her head. I'm the landlord. I'm bound to this building for life. I signed a different contract than you, a permanent one. Why would you do that? Her eyes were distant. Because someone has to maintain the agreement. Someone has to keep the building running. Someone has to make sure the protocols are followed, that someone is always the landlord. Has been since 1927. I inherited this job from my grandmother. Someday, someone will inherit it from me. We all sat in silence. Go home, Eleanor said finally. Follow the rules. 5 more days. You can do this. March 28th through 30th were endless. My doorknob turned constantly. Wet footprints appeared every morning. Voices called through my walls, but I followed every rule. Salt line every night. No looking after midnight. No answering knocks after 10. No investigating sounds. No leaving during the hungry hour. Every rule. Every time. March 31st, the final night. I couldn't sleep. Just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for April 1st. At 11 in the evening, my power went out. Just my apartment. I checked my phone. No outage reported. I remembered there was no rule about individual power outages, so I sat in the dark and waited. At midnight, I heard my front door unlock, the deadbolt sliding back, the chain unhooking. Impossible, but happening. The door opened, footsteps in my living room, coming toward my bedroom. I stayed in bed, salt line still in place. The footsteps stopped at my bedroom door. Olivia, my own voice, speaking from outside my bedroom. You know I'm just you, right? Your reflection, your other self. We should talk. Silence. I know all your secrets, all your fears. I know what you did when you were 16. I know what you think about at night. I know everything. My heart raced. And I know you're scared, but you don't have to be. Just open the door. We can finally meet properly. The doorknob turned. I've been waiting all winter for you to let me in, watching you through the mirrors, listening through the walls, learning everything about you. 3 knocks. Open the door, Olivia. Don't you want to see yourself clearly? I closed my eyes, ignored it, stayed silent. The knocking continued for 3 hours. Finally, at 6:57 in the morning, my phone alarm went off. 7 in the morning, April 1st. Sunrise. The knocking stopped. The footsteps faded. My power flickered back on. I got out of bed and opened my bedroom door. My apartment was normal. Everything in its place. Front door locked, chain secured, like nothing had happened. I grabbed my phone, messages in the group chat. We made it. April 1st. We're free. Who's staying? Who's leaving? I didn't answer. I just started packing. 2 hours later, my car was loaded. I went to Eleanor's office to check out. She was waiting for me with a folder. You survived, she said. Not a question, just a fact. Barely. That's all that matters. She handed me the folder. Your security deposit, your hazard bonus, and a letter of recommendation if you need it for your next landlord. I took the folder. How many are leaving? You're the 7th, out of 11. Not bad, actually. Some years everyone leaves, some years everyone stays. Why would anyone stay? Eleanor looked at me steadily. Because the world doesn't have rules, doesn't have protocols. Out there, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's dangerous and what's safe. Here, you know exactly what the rules are. You know how to survive. Some people find that comforting. Some people find uncertainty more terrifying than monsters. Not me. I didn't think so. She stood and extended her hand. You did well, Olivia. You followed every rule. You're one of the few. Be proud of that. I shook her hand. Then I walked out the front door, into spring sunshine, into April 1st, into freedom. I drove until the Rosemont was out of sight, until the town was behind me, until I crossed the state line. I never went back, but the protocols stayed with me. I still check my locks obsessively. I still jump at footsteps in hallways. I still won't look out windows after midnight. I still keep salt in every room, because I learned something in that building. Some places exist at the intersection of our world and something else. Some places have rules for a reason. And some horrors don't need to be seen to be real. The threat is enough. The knowledge that they exist, that they're watching, that they're waiting for you to slip. Last week, I got mail, an envelope with no return address. Inside was a single page. Rosemont Apartments. Now, Accepting applications for 2025 to 2026. Winter season competitive rates. Limited availability. All utilities included. Winter protocols. Training provided perfect for experienced tenants. At the bottom, in Eleanor's handwriting, "You did so well, Olivia. We could use someone like you, someone who understands, someone who follows the rules. The position of assistant landlord is available. You'd be protected, paid well, and you'd never have to fear winter again." Think about it. The offer stands permanently. I burned the letter. Then I kept the ashes, just in case. Because part of me knows she's right. The world is uncertain, dangerous in ways I can't predict. But at the Rosemont, I knew the rules. I knew how to survive. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind howls and shadows move wrong, sometimes I think about going back, about accepting Eleanor's offer, about spending my life maintaining the protocols, keeping people safe, following the rules forever. But then I remember the voices on the night of longest dark, the scratches on my bedroom door, the wet footprints, the thing that used my own voice. And I know I can't go back, not willingly, not ever. Because some places may offer safety through rules, but they demand a price, and that price is freedom. I choose freedom. Even if it means never feeling truly safe again, even if it means checking every lock 3 times, even if it means jumping at footsteps in the night, I choose freedom. But the Rosemont Apartments will always be there, at the edge of town, surrounded by forest, waiting for the next winter, for the next tenant, for the next person who needs affordable housing and doesn't ask too many questions. And when they arrive on November 1st, Eleanor will meet them in the lobby with a smile and a binder and 17 rules that must be followed. No exceptions, no deviations, no second chances, because winter is coming and the protocols must be obeyed.